So we're still in the Monday phase of the sales call. We're still setting the sales call up. So we've learned how we're going to be able to set an agenda, and we've learned how to build a bit of rapport with our customer. Now I'm going to present to you a unit on personality styles, which will hopefully help you understand your customers a little bit better and change the way you approach them dependent on their own personality style. So the famous psychologist Carl Jung came up with a theory that we can roughly divide all the different types of personality into 4 main areas, 4 main styles of how people operate socially. And it's useful to you in 2 ways in sales. So it helps us understand our customer's personality style to tailor our offers. So if we understand which one of the 4 main styles they're in, we can actually tailor how we present our products to them, which features and benefits that we will plan to discuss with them, which are more likely to resonate with that type of personality style. And secondly, it enables us to understand and adapt our own personality style so that we can best match our customers and further enhance the rapport that we've already built. So hopefully that makes sense. So it can be made really complicated, this subject. I'll give you a moment to look at this while I'm talking. So you can subdivide the different personality styles into much more intricate detail. However, for a sales job, I don't think this is actually strictly necessary. If you're in HR and you're employing people, then it maybe is a good idea to really get into the detail of personality styles. Maybe really look at some of the specialist companies that do training around how you profile people, because if you're employing somebody, you're going to be working with that person for a long period of time. So it's really important that you really understand the type of personality you're looking for. However, when we're dealing with customers, and especially in face-to-face calls, we're not in a position to make really deep judgments about our customers. So we can use this really easy template to actually subdivide our customers into the 4 different styles. So let me explain the diagram for you. So on the x-axis, we have ask, tell, and this is your communication style. And then on the y-axis, we have show, hide, and this is your emotions that are displayed. Now, if we can make a judgment about what you do and what your customers do, then we can place ourselves based on whether we ask or tell in a different quadrant, or show, hide in a different quadrant, and I'll explain more in a moment. But to think to yourself, do you tend to tell people things, or do you tend to ask people things naturally? Do you tend to show your emotions, or do you tend to hide your emotions naturally? Now, this will change depending on the environment we're in to make that point. But we all have a natural style, and we're all able to slightly tweak the style that we're presenting at that moment in time to fit the situation that we're in. However, what we can do is we can really quickly just say to ourselves, which quadrant am I in? And then I'm going to present to you the features of those quadrants and the different strategies we can use to present ourselves as best as we possibly can to those different personality styles. So think to yourself, which quadrant are you in? Do you tend to ask people things, or do you tend to tell people things normally? Do you tend to hide your emotions, or do you tend to show your emotions? Does everybody know what you're thinking about? So to give you a clue, I'm quite an expressive person, because I tend to be the sort of person who will tell you how I'm feeling, which is the clues there. So both of them, I'm telling you, but I'm also showing my emotions straight away. So very quickly you can tell that I'm an expressive person. However, you might be different. You might be somebody that doesn't like to show your emotions. When you first enter an environment, you might like to ask questions rather than tell people things. And that also is completely, this is not a good or a bad thing. This is just understanding your personality style. And then for number 2, I want you to think about which quadrant are the majority of your customers in. So some professions have a lot of customers that fit into broad categories. So accountants, for example, as the name may suggest, tend to be quite analytical because they need to be analytical with things like numbers. Therefore, they tend to have a personality style which is ask and hide. Similarly, if you're dealing with chief executives of companies, they tend to hide their emotions, so they're not that keen to let you know how they're feeling right now. They're very task focused, but they will tell you things. They won't ask your opinion, they will tell you their opinion. So have a think, what quadrant are the majority of your customers, and maybe jot that down now in your course companion booklet. So let's look at the different quadrants and look at the type of approach we should take and the focus we should adopt when we're developing offers for these customers. So your approach: be very well prepared with an analytical customer. Remember, they are the sort of people that won't show their emotions and they'll ask things, but they are your thinking customers. They will listen to every word you say and they will expect you to be very well prepared. And you need to explain to them clearly why you're calling on them. They will be listening carefully. Like I say, they'll be asking you questions about what you're doing. And you need to give really clear reasons for the reason for your call. You need to be logical. Again, they're not interested in how you're feeling particularly. They're not interested in your emotions or emotion per se. They're interested in logic. They're interested in the actual logical things that we're going to come on to, the logical reasons why they might buy from you. Now, don't be over familiar with these customers either. They're not the touchy-feely customers. They're not going to show you their emotions. So don't be over familiar. Keep a reasonable level of social distance. And I'm not talking about social distance in terms of the COVID crisis. I'm talking about just give them space. Listen carefully. Listen very carefully. An analytical person has chosen their words carefully, and they will expect you to listen to them carefully. We're going to come on to how you listen carefully in a couple of chapters. Slow your pace down and never interrupt. Again, an analytical is choosing their words very carefully when they speak. And if you interrupt them or you hurry them, they're not going to thank you for that. And you will find that it will be difficult to create rapport with that person. And your focus when you're dealing with analytical people, analytical customers, generally, if they're analytical, they are interested in the safety and security aspects of the things you've got to offer. Never be flippant about things like the security and about your things of your product. Never be flippant. Be quite serious in your actual offer, and that demonstrate how your product will give them a peace of mind, will give them safety, will give them security. Now we come on to the driven checklists. The driven customers, like I said, many people who are high performers, CEOs, tend to be extremely driven. So you need to mirror them. You need to be very well prepared when you deal with this customer group. Similarly, they're not interested in your emotions. They want you to be logical. They want you to give them logical reasons. But be direct, be very brave with these customers. They expect you, if you're speaking to them and you feel you have the right to engage with somebody who is driven, someone who's task-focused, someone who is a real kind of go-getter, you need to be brave and direct. They want to feel like they're dealing with somebody that is worthy of their attention. So anything that you can offer that will boost their ego and power. Now, this is not a derogatory thing by any means. Leaders do have a strong sense of ego and power, and good leaders we need them. They're fantastic. When we have good leaders and people with vision, we need them. And as a result, it's perfectly okay to actually use the aspects of your offer that will boost their power and ego to help them lead and to help make solutions and things better for the people that they're leading. Amiable checklist. So the amiables, right down in the other side of the quadrants, they tend to be your friendly characters. So they ask you what you're feeling, and they're interested in feelings. They're interested in emotions. They show their emotions. So you need to be relaxed. You need to be conversational. You need to be friendly with them. But don't be disrespectful. Be respectful to them. Don't be disrespectful. Don't assume that their friendliness and their amiable character is a sign of weakness. It often isn't. You still get amiable customers who are CEOs and high-performing people, and the worst thing in the world you can do is assume that someone who's amiable is weak. They're not. Display you're comfortable with honest answers though, because the amiable doesn't necessarily want to upset you and they're interested in your feelings and their feelings. Sometimes they won't give you a direct yes or no answer, and they'll give you a maybe. But one of the things we know in sales is a yes or no answer is something we can forecast. It's something we can give when we're doing a forecast. We can make an actual judgment based on that, whereas a maybe hinders what we're trying to do. So be really clear to your amiable customer and let them know that it's okay if the answer is a yes or a no. You're fine with no's. In fact, you prefer a no to a maybe. And your focus when you're building offers, appeal to their kindness. Emphasize the benefits of your offer to wider society, but just show that what you have to offer is beneficial. Show the ethical side of it. So if it's good for the environment, if it's good for lots of other things. That make sure that you focus on those aspects. And then finally, the expressive checklist. So I'm an expressive naturally. So you need to be conversational, be good humoured, but you need to have high energy, engage with high energy. Now, a word of advice with all personality styles when you're in a sales job is engage with high energy with everybody. Don't go into a sales call feeling low and unmotivated. Always have good energy, but especially with an expressive customer. Engage with them, meet their energy. Gain firm agreement and check acceptance with a summary follow-up with these customers. So expressives are great. They tend to be innovators. They tend to be people that get excited about things, but sometimes that excitement can bubble over and they can agree to things they don't necessarily have the authority to make good on. So make sure you check with them and use summaries, use emails, etc. to confirm what's been agreed. And keep up positive momentum. Before somebody else steals their attention from you, make sure you have the momentum, and if they've said yes to something, strike while the iron is hot. Make sure you close, make sure you're thorough in your follow-up admin task that you need to do to close that deal, because while they're excited, that's the best time to close it. So as we said, the expressives tend to be the innovators. So focus on the innovation and the exciting aspects of an offer. Make them feel like they're going to be a winner for accepting this. So hopefully that's given you an idea of the different types of personality style. And you need to think about how you can change your personality style. So think about which one you are, and think about how you can tweak that personality style to best match the customers that you're dealing with, because you'll find that you'll have much more harmonious dealings with people if you're thinking about this kind of thing.